Combine this with this. Go. Let's try cutting this organ with a scalpel. Scalpel. Key! Yes. There's a key in this organ. Found a key in an internal organ. Yes, we did. Now, there are a couple places we can go. So let's try them both. Right first, because I'm a right kind of man. Awesome, it's unlocked. Yes, my gut sense was correct. The other way is probably the correct way to actually escape. Probably. Hello there, room. Oh, God, I see this already. No, I don't. Oh, that's on the other. Okay, that's confusing. This looked like it was bleeding into this. Yeah, okay, yeah, because I have the left-right view, not the top-down view, so sometimes it's like, wait, what? Hey, Junpei, you think there are any slugs on this ship? What? Huh? Well, if there are, I was thinking we could put salt on them. What's she pointing at? The label states NiC. I should know. Sodium chloride? Salt, huh? Do you think Seven will shrivel up if we put it on him? Hey! You say something? Why do all my partners hate each other? Seriously, Clover and Lotus were at Santa and Lotus were at each other's necks, and now Seven and Clover, like, does everyone have this dynamic going on? Really? Or maybe Clover's just pissy at everyone when Snake's not around. Junpei, there's a bottle of iron powder on the shelf. How do you know it's iron? The label says Fe, yeah. Yeah, so I was probably right. NaCl is sodium chloride. Yes, I haven't completely lost it. I did take chemistry in the past. Not much of it, but the one thing I did learn was the table, so. Fe's iron, if I remember correctly. Something stinks. Is it coming from the bottle? It says NH3. Shoot. What's just M? N? Neon? Hydrogen? Neon hydrogen 3? I don't know. Well, that of course stinks. It's ammonia. Yeah, that combination of the two, whatever those two are. Because, you know, this is totally common knowledge. I think. Oh, hello! Blue liquid. Looks like there's something inside that bottle. Why don't you try pouring some out into the cap? Can't see any reason why not. What's that? It's bright blue. Do you think it's alien blood? Ah, yes! Where the hell did that come from? Then what do you think it is, Seven? I don't know, some sort of special bath soap? What a boring guess. Yeah, I like alien blood better, for sure. This one's red, right? Yep. Looks like there's something inside that bottle. Why don't you try pouring rubber? That's the only reason why not. What's that? It's bright red. Do you think it's regular blood? No, blood's thicker than that. Then what is it? Beats me. Alien blood! There's a note on top of the table. Iron 1, salt 2, water 3. Iron 1, salt... Okay, so Fe1, salt, that's NaCl, and water, that's H2O. So H2O times 3, NaCl times 2, and then Fe times 1. Carbon dioxide equals question mark, ammonia equals question mark, ethanol equals question mark? What? What? Huh? What do you think this is a hint for? Maybe it's got something to do with this box? This thing won't open. Is it locked? You probably need to put in a passcode. I mean, geez. You even got a keypad on there. How much more obvious can you get? I can only enter 3 numbers. E is for enter and C is for clear. Once you input the number, press E. If you mess up, press C. Let's give it a shot. You're joking. I can enter random numbers? So, Like 1, and then I don't 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm gonna do what Merrick did. 1, 1, 1. Enter. Drat. 0, 0, 0. Enter. Drat. 0, 0, 1. Enter. Okay, that's enough of that bullshit. Actually, you know what? Just in case. Okay, I had to check. Yeah. Last time they didn't let us enter a code. I thought just in case we accidentally entered the right one before we actually found out how, but this time I guess they're not afraid? Seems kind of inconsistent. But, okay, what do we got? Let's look more around so we can try and solve this puzzle without actually entering every single digit. Oh, good stuff! Let's go for a drink! Oh gosh. What are you talking about? I'm talking about that bottle. It says C2H5OH. Yeah, and everyone knows what that means, right? Oh god. It's ethanol. Oh boy. That's right. It's also known as ethyl alcohol. It's pretty much what booze is made of. So, you're gonna drink it? Nah, I won't. You might say that's what's on the label, but there could be anything in there. What's this? Looks like a can with a spray nozzle. It says CO2. So it's a can filled with carbon dioxide. Why does everyone know all this stuff off the top of their head? Jeez. Hey Junpei, maybe in Japan, like, chemistry is like something that everyone is super into. I don't know. Hey Junpei, there's dihydrogen monoxide on this shelf. So, you mean water. Why don't you just say water? Yeah, I knew that one. Okay, now let's refresh our memory. Iron equals 1, salt equals 2, water equals 3. So is it just 1, 2, 1? Is it that simple? I think I had it on 1, 2, 1 for a second, but I cleared it. Is it literally 1, 2, 1? Because that's what's coming to me right now. That seems a little simple. But, let me try. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's 1, 2, 1. Maybe I really should have just... If I just put E instead of C, that would have solved it, if I'm right about this. Let's go ahead and see. 1, 2, 1. No. 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 I'm thinking about this all wrong. Root number, hello. Salt is Na and Cl. I know what I'm doing now. Iron is, when I saw iron 1, salt 2, and water 3, I thought it meant, we had 1 iron, 2 salt, and 3 water. But no. We had 1 molecule in iron, 2 molecules in salt, 3 molecules in water. I'm sorry for wasting a bunch of your time. I probably cut a bunch of that out, because you didn't need to see it. So now it's asking us what we need here. So 6 hydrogens, 2 oxygens, and 1 something. I don't remember the order. It doesn't matter. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So carbon dioxide is 9. Ammonia... No, sorry, not carbon dioxide. Ethanol is 9. Carbon dioxide is 3. And then ammonia is 4. So the order would be 3, 4, 9. I believe. If this is wrong, then I got nothing. 3, 4, 9. Let's do it. 3, 4, 9. Let's do it. Let's do it. Stop with your dialogue. 3, 4, 9. Go. Yes! Okay. I wasted so much time and then proceeded to be like, oh, it's that simple. Oops. I was completely on the wrong track. Oh boy. A heart. This thing is super creepy. This ain't good for the heart. Yeah, you're not funny. Fake right arm. It's the right arm of the body. It's kind of creepy. Yes, sir. So we still have that key. I'm surprised. You think we should go back? Yeah, I think that's probably best. Clover nodded and left. Junpei was about to follow her when he realized that Seven wasn't following suit. Hey Seven, what's up? Oh, well... He looked up at Junpei distractedly and then back down at the brown bottle he held coupled in his large hands. What's that? In response, Seven tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. He got it and twisted it around to read the label. Ethylene diamine tartrate. EDT. It's tartaric ethylene diamine. Okay, just say EDT. EDT. Even then, that's hard because they're all the E sound. Yeah, it's tartaric ethylene but that's OTD. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know. I look at that and that seems easier than EDT. I'm just gonna say OTD. That's easier. What kind of medicine is this? Not medicine. I think it's an industrial strength detergent. Why would they have something like that here? Well, probably to clean stuff up. Clean what up? Fuck if I know. Still, it looks like it's cleaned my brain up. You remember something? Junpei looked up from the bottle. You remember? What you remember? Seven nodded slowly and spoke. Well, I remember a story about ODD. Happened about 50 years ago. There was this factory somewhere in America, making big old OTD crystals. They were making it to sell as industrial strength cleaner, like I told you before. But now I'm talking American, sorry. A year after the factory started up, something strange started happening with the crystals they were building. Water molecules started attaching themselves to the ODD crystals. This made them into a sort of mutation of the original crystals called a hydrate. Once the crystal turned into a hydrate, though, it's useless as a cleaner. The factory had to just dump the crystals. As a hydrate, they were useless. But it didn't end there. After that day, the same thing started happening in OTD factories everywhere, even ones nowhere near that first American factory. This sounds very similar. They'd been making crystals the same way, with the same materials, and the same equipment and environment, but now, all of a sudden, every single crystal they formed turned into a hydrate. In fact, ever since that day, no factory anywhere has been able to make a pure OTD crystal. Even in OTD research done years before, they'd never gotten a hydrate. But after it happened at the first factory, it just spread. I've heard a story like this before, yeah. It was like, man, how do you say it? This is a running theme, I'm sure. Like the molecules were communicating with one another, transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive. This phenomena spread throughout the world, right? Junpei looked up at Seven with half a smirk. Seven stared at him, dumbfounded. Yeah, that's it, exactly. But how'd you know? I heard another story kind of like that one. When? In the freezer. What? The freezer? Junpei told Seven the story he heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day, glycerin began to crystallize, and the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absent-mindedly rubbed the scar on his chin. Yeah, look at those scars all around. It would make sense if he was some kind of... Either he was a thug or in some kind of brutal profession. Like being a cop. Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh? That sounds familiar? Yeah, hold up. I feel like I can remember something. It's right there. It's right under my hat. Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space as if he was trying desperately to focus on something far away. Do you know something about it? Know about Ice 9? Let's be more direct. Try and jog his memory. Do you know about Ice 9? Ice 9. Ice 9, Ice 9. Ice, 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 baby. Suddenly, Seven's eyes shot open. That's it! What is? I remember now. What do you remember? That woman. She's on this boat. What woman? What are you talking about? That woman? Alice! Who? What? Lotus, you mean? That's the only other one, right? Who's Alice? Come on, the woman who won't melt it. The woman who won't melt at room temperature? Lotus! You know Lotus? What? Oh my gosh! What's going on? Is she some kind of... You guys know each other somehow then? Or wait, is she like some kind of evil person and you've been on to her because you're a cop? I don't know. I gotta keep reading. I can't bother hypothesizing just yet. Hypothesizing. It became clear to Seven that Junpei had no idea what he was talking about. He ran his head across his face and took a deep breath. You know how the Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, right? I do now. I didn't know the date off the top of my head, but I knew it was a while ago. More than 1,500 people died. Ooh, what you say? Worst maritime accident in history. What about it? Did you hear about the boat that was sent to collect the dead bodies? I think that was the RMS Carpathia, right? Whatever that is. It was a cruise liner, just like the Titanic. No. That was the ship that picked up the survivors. The ship that collected the dead bodies was the CS Mackay Bennett. The Mackay Bennett showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the accident. It set out from Halifax, a port in Canada. Yay, that's my country. And recovered 306 bodies. The Atlantic that far north was really cold. It would have to be, for there to be icebergs and stuff. Anyway, the bodies they pulled out of the waters were frozen solid. This isn't a very nice story. So, what happened next? Well, they say the Mackay Bennett recovered something more than just dead bodies. There were various bits of stuff floating around in the water. Things the drowned had carried with them, or stuff dislodged as the ship sank. One of the things they found was a coffin. A coffin? Was it the mummy that June was talking about? Is this all connecting? Yeah, a wooden one. Maybe she wasn't crazy. She sounded pretty crazy, but maybe not. The craftsman who'd made it must have been pretty skilled. It wasn't just a wooden coffin. It was all wood. There was no nails or reinforcements, and there was no gaps in the wood anywhere. It was airtight. The crew got pretty curious about what might be inside it and opened it up. They had to get a wedge and hammer it open. It was so well made. Inside, they found a woman, or I guess you should say they found the dead body of a woman. Her hair was thick and black, and her skin was deep brown and didn't show any signs of age or decomposition. Okay. They say that she looked gorgeous, like a goddess. She was obviously dead, but everyone who looked at her said she looked just like she was sleeping. This is like what June said. So she wasn't crazy? What's going on here? Her skin was so lifelike. She looked like she might wake up any minute. She didn't, though. Like the rest of the bodies they found, she was frozen solid. This is crazy. Eventually, the Mackay Bennett finished the search and returned to Halifax. The 306 bodies were unloaded and taken ashore. However, it was warm enough that they began to melt. They say the stink was horrible. But there was one body that didn't melt. The girl in the coffin. That's right. Everybody thought for sure that she'd melt and start to rot like the rest of them eventually. But weeks passed and nothing happened. Then a month had passed, then another, and it was summer, and she was still frozen solid. After a while, people started to say she was some sort of miracle. Rumors about the girl started to spread, and people came to visit Halifax from all over. After a while, people started to call her All Ice. Oh, clever. Yeah, so I'm sure this is something fictional that they're just adding into the plot. There's no way it's real. Is it? I have no idea. Probably wants to look this up, but part of me doesn't, because it might just be in this game and I might spoil something by looking it up, so I'm not gonna bother until at least I beat the game. Alice. Of course, those rumors didn't last long. Why? Well, she up and disappeared. One day Alice was there, and the next day she wasn't. They say someone snuck into where they were keeping her and stole the body. With the body gone, the rumors followed pretty quickly. And after a while, no one remembered her. You might be able to find something about her if you could find a newspaper from back then, but that's about it. Wait. You just said that she was on this boat. Yeah, I did. Alice has got to be someone on this ship. Now, why the hell would you say something like that? Because I know. And just what is it you know? What happened to Alice after she was stolen? Did you steal her or something, or... Alright, tell me. What happened to Alice? Seven nodded slowly and took on the look of a man recalling something long buried. Well, around that time, the word was that there was a thriving black market in New York. I mean, I'm sure there still is, but this was special. All millionaires from all over the world. I've heard that Alice went up for auction there. The person who won the auction was Lord Dashiell Gordon. I've heard Gordon before. I don't remember where, it's been a while, but I think he was brought up at some point in this game. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. You've heard that name before, right? Yeah, I do remember Gordon. Sir Gordon. Sir Gordain. If he's a sir, he's Gordain. Isn't he the guy who bought the Gigantic? Yeah. The Titanic's sister ship. And what about that third sister? Ugh! That's gotta matter. There's no way they would have brought up a third sister if it doesn't matter. Unless, you know, this is real life stuff and there actually are three sisters and the third one just doesn't matter. But I doubt it. Even if they all are real life things, a good writer would make them all work. Although I guess he hadn't done that yet. What do you mean? Gordain bought Alice in 1912. Then 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic. And he hid Alice somewhere on the Gigantic. But nobody knows where. Is she the key or something? Like, he died in 1931. Well, then he's obviously not the mastermind or anything. Nothing like that. That'd be silly. I thought he might have bought the thing more recently, but no. Definitely not. And apparently he died without ever telling anyone where Alice was hidden. That's gotta be a lie, though, or someone found out. Some Alice enthusiast or some Gordon enthusiast. However what? Well, he did have one close friend who asked him, "Where's Alice?" And he said, "Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic." The hell is that? Some kind of riddle? Your guess is as good as mine. Seven threw his hands up in defeat. So that's it. Whatever you think, I believe it. I'm no good with riddles. Typically, riddles are only ever really used in, you know, movies and TV shows and video games, and the answers they come up with, while believable, are typically obscure to make, you know, the fact that they're riddles that no one's ever solved before actually believable. But, because of that, like, there's so many things you can come up with that riddles never really work in an actual thing, unless you make them fairly obvious, so. She's hidden somewhere on the Gigantic. In other words, she's hidden somewhere on this ship. Before Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre, and here I was thinking he was talking about Lotus. They heard Chloe's voice from the door. She did not sound pleased. Hey! What are you two doing over there? Stop wasting time and get over here. Okay, we're coming. Ugh. Seven looked at Junpei. Yeah, so anyway, that's the story. It might be useful someday. How about this day? Don't forget it. Oh, and now the game's even telling me not to forget it. With that cryptic remark, he turned and left the room. Okay, either he's letting on more than he knows, or either he knows more than he's letting on, sorry, or the game is essentially telling me, don't forget it, it's important. So, I will try to keep that in my memory. Even if I don't, though, I always have the Let's Play to look back on. Junpei was left behind to ponder what he just heard. He tried to remember what June had told him earlier. That mummy wasn't just a normal mummy. Yeah, it's gotta be the same mummy. They say that she was frozen. I was frozen today! The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic, and even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted. Was that Egyptian priestess Alice? Had the water in her body become Ice 9? No, that's nuts. There's no way somebody like that could exist. Okay. Okay, this game officially went from completely 100% realistic to probably not so much. Unless both of them are crazy and had some weird memories put into them, maybe we all did. Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room where Clover was waiting. But yeah, that'd be funky if like all of us maybe have had our memories tampered with. I don't know, because either that or this game isn't completely realistic, which I thought it was, so maybe not. It still could be a good game. I just kind of thought it was one of those that, you know, was completely realistic, like not necessarily everything that happens is like, oh, this is something that happens in everyday life, but something that could feasibly happen, you know.